Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rosie, it's my husband Jeremy.
Hello.
And today we're going to be doing a recap of our time in Costa Rica. So we were there for 4 weeks in total.
Month.
Yeah, 1 month. And this was a couple of months ago, so it's been a little while. I have my laptop here with photographs and things to be able to talk through. But we went to Puerto Viejo, Tortuguero National Park, La Fortuna, Cloud Forest, Quepos, Uvita and San Jose. So went to 7 places in 4 weeks. So it was quite rushed, but we had a good time overall, I would say. Especially looking back, it feels like it was good. Some of the vlogs are good, but then we didn't absolutely love it, did we?
This is going to be an unpopular opinion.
This might be an unpopular opinion video. It might be, but we're going to just say our truth and that's what it is. So I vlogged the first 5 places and didn't vlog at all in Uvita and San Jose. I did get some clips here and there, but they're towards the end of the video anyway. So we're going to start off with Puerto Viejo, which, first of all, the first airport that we stayed in the first night was a bit dodgy. It was next to the airport.
Hotel.
What did I say?
Airport.
The hotel that we stayed at the first night was next to the airport and it was a little bit dodgy. Would not recommend. I'm not even going to leave it linked. No. But then the next day we got a taxi to the bus station, got a bus for I don't know how many hours.
Too many.
Too many hours to Puerto Viejo, and we stayed there for about
5 nights? 4 or 5 nights?
4 nights maybe?
Yeah.
And we actually really enjoyed it there. I think that was our first glimpse of Costa Rica and we both really liked it there because it's a beachy town. It's very like reggae, Caribbean, colourful reggae music, chilled, relaxed. But also a small town, like not super touristy in the sense that like there's big condos and things. You know, like compared to Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, it wasn't at all like that.
Yeah. Well, that was the main thing now. We had very nice hosts also.
Yeah.
And that's what Ivan was saying, is that the Caribbean side is less built up and less touristy looking like than the Pacific side.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was very good. Yeah. We also went not doing tourist season, we went at the beginning of rain season in June. So that probably also affected how many tourists were there.
Yeah. But there's a black sand beach in the town, which is cool. There's also, I think it's like it's not an old fishing boat, which is what I thought it was. But there's some sort of thing in the water that the local people swim to and stand on to go fishing. Do you remember that?
A wreck.
Anyway, our hosts were really, really nice and they took us for a day trip. I'm going to leave on screen where we went, but it was so nice. We drove to Manzillo, something like that I think it was called.
Yeah, went to a national park in the south, basically just before the Panamanian border.
Yeah.
Like we were very close to the Panamanian border at some point. Yeah, that was a really nice, I would assume, national park. Donation-based entry, amazing walk through like the jungle, forest, very like secluded, small private beach area with like really nice water. Yeah, that was great, really cool.
Yeah, it took us maybe, I think it was like a half an hour, 40-minute drive, parked up, and then it was an hour to get from the car park to the beach that they wanted to go to. They had their own little spot with like some trees where they hung up hammocks, and I think they go there probably once a month or something. There was lots of beaches along the way that we could have stopped at equally, that would have been a shorter distance. And then at about 2:30, 3 o'clock, something like that, we decided there was a boat on the beach. They were going back to the entrance within like half an hour or something, so we decided to go with them and paid a little fee so we didn't have to hike in the middle of the day for an hour on the way back, which I'm actually grateful for. But it was also really nice to see the beach like that as well, because it was literally a small section of beach and then just dense forest. It wasn't kind of like a couple of palm trees, a path, a road, a house, whatever. It was literally beach and then palm trees, and it was so nice to walk, like have a good hike and get absolutely drenched. I was so sweaty. We saw monkeys along the way, we saw lots of really nice birds and flowers and plants and things, but then get there and be able to swim and just relax. I think I fell asleep in the hammock for like an hour. It was so lovely. But otherwise, Puerto Viejo was a nice place. Like I said, we stayed there a couple of days, so it wasn't, none of these trips were like 2 weeks or anything, but it was a nice amount of time to get a feel for it. And it is somewhere I would go back to there. I actually did really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's not a place that there's much to do.
No.
Like, I mean, you can literally walk through from one side of the town to the other in not long. You can count it. There's a couple of popular touristy stuff to do. I think there was it this place? There was like a jaguar center or stuff like that, which is not jaguar. But yeah, it's like a rescue place where you can go and pet a sloth or whatever. But don't really like that. And there is another national park. So we went south and there is another one north between there and Limon. We haven't done this one, but I think it's also a popular destination for tourists to go there. Yeah, not a whole lot to do, but just a nice, cool, chill town.
When we were there, I actually started looking at properties as well in that area because I actually really, really liked it, and I thought this could be such a nice place to come to like a couple of times a year and just chill. But I ended up, I think it was like a 6-hour drive from the airport, and I thought that was probably just too far if we want to be like travelling to and from different places and use that as a home base. I think flying somewhere and then travelling 6 hours to get home would be too much. But yeah, really liked it there. We then went to Tortuguero National Park and we stayed there I think 3 nights. It was a bit shorter.
That was a fun ride though.
Yeah, the journey there was really good because we got a bus from where we were to Limon and then got
quick taxi, and then we took like a 3-hour boat drive
boat
through
trip.
the canals, some canal inside. So basically like, we followed the Caribbean coast going like kind of up, but inland, which we didn't know at the beginning. We thought we were going to ride a boat for 3 hours on the ocean, which could have been a bit rough. But in fact you don't really see that on the map, but if you zoom in you do. There's plenty of like small canals going through the land. I don't know how deep it goes or anything, but yeah, so that was a really cool ride. Like we saw plenty of crocodile and birds and plenty of animals on the side.
I saw a sloth as well.
Yeah, that was just the ride by itself was quite cool.
Yeah, it was as if you paid for like a tourist trip, but just to be able to get there. So basically, Tortuguero National Park, I think it used to be a logging place where they used to chop down trees, and that's why they built all the canals, so they could ship the logs back to a main city and start using them. After a couple of years, they decided maybe we shouldn't chop down all the trees of this national park, so they stopped doing that. That's why there's the canals, but also when you're in town, there's lots of just old machinery where they just stopped working and just left the machines, which was quite interesting because you're kind of walking around, there's just like a huge metallic thing that hasn't been used in 50 years or whatever it's been, and it was just been left there and abandoned. I think it also used to be a turtle snatching place. I don't know what you'd call it, like poaching or whatever.
Poaching, along the national park, it's a very, very endless beach, and it's one of the main place where turtle come nesting. And it's a very popular thing to do at nesting season.
So we weren't there for that, so we didn't see that, but yeah, it is a place where you can see wild turtles. So that's a little bit of information about Tortuguero National Park.
I'm pretty sure it's got the nickname of like the Amazon forest of Costa Rica or something like that because of the
biodiversity. So the place that we stayed was a small little apartment. I actually would recommend it. It was basic. It had 2 bedrooms. One had a double bed.
The town is basic anyway.
One had a double bed, one had a double bed and like a single bed above, which is what you slept on. So I slept on the bottom bunk, the double bed, and Jeremy slept on the top bunk for the first 2 nights. I was like, I just need to sleep. At least you're in the same room, but I just need to sleep. And I had a basic kitchen, a little desk and area thing. And it was good because it was quite close to both sides. It was kind of in the middle, because there's the beach side, there's the town in the middle, and then there's the canal area, so you can either be on the beach side or the canal side or the centre. We were kind of in the middle, which meant it was easy to get to either side.
So this is not connected to the mainland. Like you need to take a boat towards Tortuguero. Whether you come from the south and it's a long ride, or you come from the mainland from San Jose and it's a shorter ride, like it is, you can't drive there. You boat or you fly.
So the main reason to go to Tortuguero National Park is to see sloths, and we were so lucky that we saw 4, I think, in the end. So
we saw one very well, and we saw a few fluffy
things in the trees. It was nice that like the first day we went in the morning, and the guide had told us that most people do the boat trip in the morning and then go to the park in the afternoon. So we thought, right, well, we'll go to the park in the morning, so we'll be on our own, which was actually so nice. We saw like 3 people in the like 3 hours we were there or something. We saw a sloth pretty quickly in the tree. I think you spotted it, that one. And then this French woman that we saw said, oh, there's a sloth hanging down at number 42 or something. So we spend the whole time looking up at the trees. We got a sore neck. We got a sore like eyes from just concentrating so much. Completely didn't see that sloth. And then we saw another one further down that was like quite high up in the trees. But even that, we were like, oh my God, like got the tripod out. We were filming it and photographing it and just thinking how lucky we were. I don't know if it was the next day or the day after. We did a boat trip in the morning, which was recommended. So we saw lots of birds, lots of wildlife. We saw caiman, we saw hummingbirds, we saw monkeys, we saw a rare red bird. We saw iguanas, saw all sorts of things. And the guide was really good at explaining things, because basically the island that we were getting the boat around wasn't actually an island. It's basically trees that are floating. So he was kind of explaining the mechanics of it and like the science of it, and if you were to stand on it, you'd probably sink, but the trees can float because of the whatever and all the rest of it. But he was really good. And like, if we ever heard a bird singing, he would be able to say, oh, that's a so-and-so, or oh, that's a so-and-so.
Yeah.
So he was really good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then once we got off the boat, I think at like 9 or 10 a.m, we thought, right, we'll go to the park straight away. So there was 3 people standing looking at this sloth, and we were just like, oh my god. But because I'd filmed like the whole of the boat journey, and I was just knackered when we were there, I just like, as soon as we got home, I would just sleep. So I didn't actually vlog my reaction, because I wasn't vlogging that day, because I just thought we'd see the same as we'd seen the day before. So we did get some videos, but not like our reaction of like, oh my god, it's just there. So it was so cute. It was hanging, wasn't it, right in front of us. I mean, it was still far. We'd seen close to sloths in other places. We'll talk about that. But it was close enough to get good photos and videos.
Yeah. He was hanging, looking at us, and then
and it was like scratch, and
he moved.
And then we went back again that afternoon to have another look at that sloth, because we were like, I can't believe we've just seen a sloth that close. So I went back again, and he was still there.
Yeah,
I think he was
position,
sitting. Yeah. And then also, actually, I forgot to mention, in the first place, when we were at the beach on that day trip with the hosts, I got bitten by ants on my feet, which meant that then the next day I woke up and my face and my neck was covered in spots, and it was like an allergic reaction, I think, to the bites, and I think it's hives is what it's called.
Yeah.
So then when we were at Tortuguero, my skin was still recovering. I was still kind of getting over like the sore skin, and I was just scared of ants then. From that point on, I was like always looking at the floor, but then also wanting to look up at, like, I was looking for snakes, frogs, birds, monkeys, sloths. I was always like this, but I was also like, oh fuck, there's a line of ants. And there was at one point where the floor was absolutely covered. It was just crawling with ants, and I was like running through screaming. So yeah, it was definitely very wildlifey. And also we had to use a very strong insect repellent. We were using this, it's called, like, I can't remember, I'll leave it on screen, I'll leave it linked below as well, because it actually works really well, but because it's literally clogs up your pores, I felt like my arms were swelling. So I had to go home and like wash my arms every day. But the mosquitoes there were crazy. Like, I was filming Jeremy walking and had just like 20 around his legs, just like waiting.
We had to spray all our clothes.
Yeah.
Because even like they were just like going on our, You didn't get bitten once, I think.
No. But also, if I get bitten by mosquitoes, if it's a bad mosquito, I do swell as well. So like, I've been bitten on the eye before, and I wake up with like a whole swollen eye. So I was really careful to like put it on the back of my hands and like tap it on my face. And so you do have to be careful with that. Anyway, we really enjoyed it there, didn't we? It's not somewhere I would stay long term, in terms of like, I wouldn't go there and be like, oh, I'm moving to Tortuguero for 2 months just to hang out, because I think...
No, there's nothing to do. It is a place to go see the nature, and it is what you go to Costa Rica for. You're forgetting one day, no?
What? The mountain. Go on then.
On the third day, we went to... There's a volcano there that is not active anymore. I think it's the tallest mountain on the Caribbean side of Costa Rica. Yeah. Not big at all. Even Rosie made it without being out of breath. So very fine.
Took about half an hour to walk up.
Yeah. Basically, you take a small boat to go not too far, for like 15 minutes, and then you climb all this stuff. And when you arrive, they check your ticket. The guard checked your ticket. And when we were checking, the guy was like, the guard was like, oh, monkey. So we're like, oh, yeah, monkey. And then we were just chatting. I think Rosie was putting spray or whatever. And we heard a sound, and he was like, oh, that's toucan. I was like, what? And that was second item on the list, seeing toucan. I was really kind of desperate to see that. And so he was like, yeah, that sounds like a toucan. And I was like, that sounds like a frog to me. No, it's a toucan, okay. And
we'll put the audio in here.
Yeah. Suddenly we ended up with 5 or 6 toucan above our head in the trees. It was crazy. She was sobbing like a bloody mess.
Guys, there's 4 toucans above us. Jeremy's been photographing them. That's toucans, not frogs. Holy shit, that's gonna make me cry. There was like 6 toucans. Why am I crying? It's made me cry, Jeremy. I'm actually crying. I'm crying because there's something bad just happened. Holy shit. I was just thinking. I'm fully crying. Holy shit, sorry guys. Oh my god, life is fucking amazing. Well, only because, like, the sound we would never have known. So when we were on the boat trip the day before that, we'd said to him like, oh, we want to see toucans. And he said, well, you hear them rather than seeing them. So if I hear them, I'll let you know. And he obviously didn't hear any or see any. So then when he said that was toucans, we were like, what the heck? That sounds crazy. And then it started off with like one, and then there was two. And then we stood there for like 15 minutes or something, or even maybe even longer.
Why, yeah.
And then there ended up being about 6 of them, straight above us, all talking to each other, and they're quite far away, so you can't really see the details, but because I had a camera with quite a good zoom lens, although I wish I had a bigger zoom lens to get even better pictures, but it was amazing to be able to photograph them and just sit and listen to them chatting to each other, basically. And I think I just had a bit of a moment, because we have been through some shit. If you've seen all my videos, like we've been through pregnancy losses, IVF stuff, oops, I just kicked the tripod, family stuff, like I lost my grandma recently. There's been a lot of shit going on in our lives, if you think about it. And so when you have bad days, it can feel really bad. But then when you have good days, it can feel really fucking good. And it was one of those days where I was like, holy shit, we're alive. This is amazing. I can't believe things like this exist and we get to experience it. And I just sobbed. And there's no explanation, just other than like, I just felt so lucky that we'd seen toucans in the wild in Costa Rica with my husband, had a really good day. And it was just nice. Because life isn't always such a high. Like it obviously does have up and down. So like the highs I feel really high and the lows I feel really low. So yeah, I had a bit of a cry, but then I got over it, and it was fine. Got to the top, good views. You flew your drone.
Yeah. So to kind of get on the way down.
Yeah.
And then walk through the small town, San Francisco or something, and then to the bottom. Yeah. Also, I highly recommend this day trip. If you go there, make sure you do the park. I think it's 25 or 35 bucks per person.
USD, yeah.
And you can go all day. Like you can go in and out if you want to. And that's the price for the national park. So most people, what they do is they do the boat trip and the walk on the same day. So you only pay once the fee. We paid it twice because we're just gonna be there once. We might as well spend as much time as we can there. With the national park entrance, you can do the water area and the land area.
Yeah.
And then to go to the volcano thing is like $2 or $3 the entrance. So that was very cheap.
The other thing we saw was parrots and macaws.
Oh my god, yeah, the green great macaw.
This was after, so we'd done the boat trip.
We heard them.
Yeah, we'd done the boat trip. We'd then done the park, and we were like, okay, let's go home now. I'm getting tired because we'd been up at like 5 a.m. just to get the boat at 6 a.m. or whatever it was. So then, as we were leaving, Jeremy was like, let's go via the beach on our way home. So we did, and we heard some birds, and we were like, oh my god, I think they're parrots. Let's have a look. They flew past us, and so we like, quick, chasing these parrots.
They were like big, so that's a macaw.
Yeah, so we like chased them, and then they stopped somewhere, so we went to there, and then they flew over somewhere else, but eventually they stopped on this almond tree, and they were feasting there for about an hour. So we were, looking from different angles, and eventually we set up the tripod on the beach, and we're filming them, and that was really nice to see them eating and chatting and photographing them and things. So that's Tortuguero National Park. Would recommend. I think 3 days was absolutely plenty. But I do think there are some really nice resorts actually. So in the centre of town, it's more like houses and Airbnbs and that kind of thing. But when we got the boat to the volcano, or even on the boat on the way there, we drove past some resorts, and you can tell it's like a nice resort with like, I think they have like a whole bunch of land with the beach one side and the canal the other side with nice properties and things. So there are nice resorts, but otherwise you kind of stay in Airbnbs, the sort of thing that we stayed in, and it was absolutely fine.
We stayed at the entrance of the park.
Yeah.
Like literally.
It was not far, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and also the guy said that they'd seen a jaguar outside their house 3 weeks ago. They showed us a video.
The CCTV, yeah.
Yeah.
So plenty of monkey coming at night and.
Yeah, so we were a little bit scared of the jaguars, didn't see any. Anyway, we then went to La Fortuna, so I think we got a boat. The boat broke down.
So we changed boat.
So they had to send another boat for us. We changed boat and then got a taxi for a couple of hours. Yeah. Stopped along the way and bought some huge avocados. Do you remember those?
Yeah, I've got a picture.
Yeah. So we arrived in La Fortuna. We basically walked around the town, and it's a volcano town where there's a volcano called La Arena. So I had a look, and it felt a little bit dodgy, but we're like, that's fine. So the main thing to do is to go, well, there's a couple of things to do there. It's a very activity, outdoorsy town, I would say. You can go to the volcano, and you can do lots of different walks around there. We'll talk about that in a second. You can also do hot springs. You can go in the natural way where you're just literally sat in the river, or you can go to a spa and enjoy it that way. You could also go on like a sloth hike and see sloths. I think they also do rafting and kayaking and rock climbing, ziplining. Lots of different outdoor activities. But the thing I will say is it's quite expensive. To do the hike that we did around the volcano, I think it cost $10 each, but there's other ones that cost $25 each, probably even more, which to me is bananas because I'm coming from the UK.
We stopped in the Rand.
Yeah. So I'm from the UK, near the Lake District, and there you can just go and park and walk wherever you want to walk. It's just open national fields, whatever. You just go and walk. You don't pay anyone. You might have to pay for parking, but even then it's cheap. Whereas there you had to pay like $10 was the cheapest hike we found to see the volcano, which to me is bananas. But then, like I said, there's more that are more expensive, like $25. So that would have been $50 for both of us to go for a hike if we did the more expensive one. There was a sloth walk, which is basically somebody's piece of land where I think some sloths live, and he was charging $60 per person to go in and look for sloths. So that would have been 120 quid for both of us. And then there's also, like I said, the rafting, the hiking, the this, the that. Even the hot springs, I think it was $60 per person, 70.
The one we went to?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least 50, yeah.
At least 50, so that was 100 for both of us. And that was one of the cheap ones. There's obviously more expensive ones. You can stay in hotels that have access to the hot water springs as well. So it's just one of those places where if you want to do all the activities, you could easily spend $500 within a week on like doing things. Although I think a lot of that is probably warranted in terms of like, you know, if you're going ziplining, you want to make sure it's safe, you want to pay a bit of money for that. But then things like going for a hike and looking for a sloth, or going for a hike and literally walking through fields, I don't necessarily think you have to pay for.
They have monetized and commodified nature.
Yeah.
And you basically need to pay to walk
to see anything
in nature, to see anything, because that's all there is in this country. So it's
Yeah.
like, if you want to see any living creature or a tree, you're gonna have to pay for it, basically.
And even the hot springs, actually, like, because it's obviously one river that's hot from the volcano, and there's one section where you can get in for free, and even that we found it quite hard to find. I'll tell you that story in a minute when we talk about the volcano hike and things. But it was quite hard to find, and there's like one little section where you can go in for free. Otherwise, there's hotels that have bought all the land all the way around it. So unless you find that one spot, you have to pay at least 60 quid to get in to enjoy the hot springs. That's natural, like it's natural hot water. Again, like you would think they would have like a large section that's free, and then maybe a couple of hotels here and there if you want to have a nicer experience. But it was the other way around, where it was hard to find the free section. But yeah.
The whole economy of the country rely on tourism, and it's very obvious. And even like in the town, and La Fortuna was the main one where I realized that.
Yeah.
It's not cute. Like it's not really like, and it's basically like a food place, a shopping place selling stuffed animals, like sloth and shit like that,
magnets and things,
socks, and then a zipline thing, and then it's just repeat. Like that's all you have, like, and a bar, and it's just that. Like there's nothing cultural nice to see in the town. Or, like all the shops are just the same and the same and the same thing, the same things. And Costa Rica is expensive, just in case you don't know that. It's not, you know, you might have the idea of like Central America being cheaper than Europe or North America or whatever. Costa Rica, no, it's not. Like any tourist attraction that you do is the same price than any European or American one. It's not cheap at all.
I think the thing as well was that because we'd just come from Mexico, we spent 4.5 months in Mexico where we loved it. The people were so nice, there was so much culture and vibrancy and life. Like any city in Mexico, there'd be someone singing, someone dancing, there's beautiful churches, there's music, there's activities, there's just like, when I was in Mexico, I said they literally get culture and just throw it in your face. Whether you want it or not, you're having culture thrown in your face, which is incredible. Like you go out and you're not looking for anything, but you'll see something beautiful. Whereas in Costa Rica, I was expecting the same thing because it's similar and similar sort of cultures maybe or whatever. Not at all. Like the towns like Jeremy said, it's literally a hostel, an activity, a bar, a tourist shop, over and over and over again. And so you don't really get to know the people, you don't really get to know the culture or the history. Like I didn't learn anything about Costa Rican history. Like in Mexico, we went to the Mayan ruins, we learned about the people, that we tried different foods, we had so much culture immersion in so many different ways with the language and everything. Whereas, in Costa Rica, everyone speaks English. The food was just basic food, nothing particularly inspiring.
And it was expensive and it was shit.
And it was expensive. It wasn't shit, I'm glad we went, but it was just like...
The food.
Oh, the food, yeah. So it was just like we'd been from Mexico, we're expecting something similar, which is completely not that. And like you said, I think La Fortuna was one of those places where like you walk around and in the evening there's like guys with just a pot of mushrooms selling them, and there's men who would like come out of the supermarket with a bottle of vodka and stick it down the trousers and sit outside drinking, and It just felt a little bit dodgy, a little bit just like, oh, I don't know if I want to be here too long. Plus it rained the whole 5 days we were there. We were lucky, so we did the hike. Like I said, it was a cheaper hike rather than the more expensive one, but it was fine. We got a taxi there. We were there for like 4 hours maybe. Saw some fun birds, hummingbirds, saw boars, monkeys, saw the view from the lake, which was not worth mentioning.
We didn't see the volcano either because it was cloudy.
Yeah.
So we on a drive there.
Yeah, then when we got there, the top was cloudy. But we saw the lava fields, which was cool. Well, I think we had a nice trip. It was nice to get out and hike around and enjoy that. And then on the way back down, so I knew that the hot springs was sort of on the way between us and the hike. So we walked from there down this main road trying to find the entrance. And I'd seen somebody on YouTube talk about it. And it was just like, you know, there was like a gate with like a signpost or something. So you're walking down this road trying to look for this gate. Went down one road, it wasn't there. Asked some guy who was helping people parking. Eventually found it. So I went in for a swim. And I was just like, it's like a hot river. Like, it was bananas. So I enjoyed that. Jane was sat at the side because she couldn't be asked getting undressed and dressed again. And then it started raining. And then it started pouring. And then it started absolutely fucking shitting it down. So I'm in my wet swimsuit. And I thought, there's no point me getting dressed because we're about to get a taxi. We tried ordering.
There was no signal.
There was no signal. That was it.
Any Uber or anything like that.
So we ended up walking back up this hill to try and find signal where we had signal earlier. Honestly, it's absolutely shitting it down. Walking up this hill, trying to find signal. Jeremy gets Uber on his phone and like connected to my phone and things like this.
I had a very bad signal. I tried to place an order. Didn't seem it was going through. So we go back. So I kind of give up.
Yeah, we didn't think.
While the thing was just like processing, I was like, okay, so obviously not working. We go to talk to the parking guy, and he's like, hey, can you call a taxi for us? He's like, yeah, sure, it's going to be here in half an hour, okay. And while we're waiting with this guy, there's a car coming saying like, Jeremy? And he's like, yeah, I'm Uber. Like, oh, I didn't know that worked.
Yeah.
So we got
in his car, absolutely drenched, and then it just rained, basically. So that was a bit of an adventure. So I think having been to Costa Rica, I think if you could hire a car, yeah, it would be best. Like, we did look into it and we thought, well, it's sort of the same price as getting buses, and buses is easy. You don't have to faff with parking and whatever. So we thought we won't bother. Yeah. But my advice would be hire a car. Yeah. Because then you don't have to worry about not having signal in the middle of the jungle and whatever, and you can get around without getting absolutely
it's not reliable over there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's great for that.
And also just in terms of like being able to, you know, drive between places and stop off along the way and things like that, when we're getting taxis and buses and whatever else, obviously have less freedom.
Well, and also public transport is not great. Like, it's not like you can't book anything in advance. You just need to show up at a random terminal that looks dodgy as fuck. Yeah. It's like a hole in a wall, and they get you a ticket, and you just hope the bus turn up. Yeah. Like, there's no bus station. There's no booking online. Like, you can't book anything in advance. You can't plan anything in advance. Yeah, driving would be 1,000 times easier.
There was at one point, I don't remember where it was between, but we got a bus from one place to another place, had to wait there for 3 hours for the next bus to the next place. Yeah. And it was literally just like a row of chairs on the floor, and like, it was just nothing. Yeah. Like, it wasn't a bus station. It was just seats. Yeah. But then the last thing we did anyway was we went to Ecothermales Spa, which is the cheaper one that I found, the cheapest one that looked nice, let's say, because I thought, let's, you know, enjoy ourselves. And that was cool. I enjoyed it because there was lots of nature around. So you get there and you arrive. Well, actually, before I start, so the day that we got there, it had been thunderstorming for about 4 hours beforehand. So I was like, oh, I don't know if we should sit in water while it's thunderstorming, because obviously that's dangerous. So I called up and I was like, hi, we've booked in, can we still come even though it's raining? And they said, yep, we've got a electricity pole thing for thunderstorms. So I thought, okay, fine. And she was like, otherwise you can come tomorrow. I was like, well, we're leaving tomorrow. So because we'd booked everything quite, you know, in a couple of days here and there, we couldn't really change it. So we went, and it was raining most of the time, but it was actually so nice. It was about 5 or 6 pools, I would say, maybe 7 maximum. And obviously, my brain hadn't really done the maths, but the top one is the hottest, and it gets cooler as you go down. But we were just like, oh, let's go to this one first. Went into the hot one first, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Absolutely fucking boiling. I think it's like 45 degrees or something. Honestly, it was so hot. But then we were there for about 3 hours. I don't think we stayed till the end.
No, yeah.
I think if it had been not raining, it would have been nicer because you'd be able to like lay down and read and whatever. But because it was raining,
it's also got busy with plenty of teenagers, all noisy and annoying.
Yeah, it was nice to begin with, and then it got quite loud. Yeah, teenagers flirting and jumping in and stuff. But I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was nice.
So that was La Fortuna. Again, I think if you go for 3 days, you'd be fine. I don't think you need much longer. Well, it depends how many activities you want to do.
Yeah.
We didn't want to spend.
It's just one of these places that if you want to do everything, it's going to cost you a good amount.
Yeah. Next up was the cloud forest. Now this is, I think it's the only cloud forest in Costa Rica, or one of, I don't know.
2 buses from La Fortuna to there. It's a long journey, but it's kind of easy. Like, it's not like you go, you stop in a random place, like what you said,
okay.
and then you take another one and you go there. The town that you are recommending to stay is called Santa Elena, which is just close to Monteverde. Monteverde is the name of the town where the forest is attached, but most of the accommodation and everything is Santa Elena. It was fun as well. Got flooded. We'll come to that.
That's just, so we book accommodation. We always try and find the cheap, good option because we don't want to be spending 200 quid a night. We can't afford that. So we found somewhere and it looked small. We were like, okay, that looks fine. We went and did a day trip. I'll tell you about that in a second. When we came back, we were like, oh, well, the walls are wet and the window is wet and the bathroom is leaking and like the light in the bathroom was dripping. So there was like a puddle on the floor and we were just like, this is not good. And even when we arrived, actually, I thought it smelled of mould, which I thought probably isn't great, but I thought, well, we're staying here like 3 nights, whatever, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But actually, things were getting wet, so you ended up calling the Airbnb.
I mean, at some point, things like was coming toilet, I can deal with wet toilet, but it was coming through the window, like on the bed, like the bed was getting wet. I was like, okay, and the wall, behind the bed, so it was
like
okay,
a stream down
this
the
is
wall.
Getting literally like, I contacted Airbnb support for the first time in my life, and they relocated us, refunded us, gave us a discount for the next place, whatever. So we moved to a much nicer place.
So I wouldn't recommend the first place.
No.
But we went to the cloud forest and it's really nice because we ended up getting a bus in the morning and we got there super early. I think we're like the first people there.
Yeah.
Literally, we were there before it opened. There's like different paths. There's about 5 or 6 different routes that you can do, and obviously some of them like connect, or you have to walk down this one and then go into that one, and like they're all different color coded.
Took the longest one as usual.
I looked on my Lonely Planet guide and they'd said if you want to do whatever it was, 6-kilometre hike or whatever it was, I don't know how many kilometres, and see the best bits, this is the one to do. So we did that, what was recommended. So you start off going on the right and then you see a viewpoint and then through, and at one point you go through over a bridge and round and here and there and everywhere, and it was really nice. I really enjoyed it, and it was so beautiful because we were there early, and I think because we went on probably the least popular road, I don't know, there was just no one around us.
Yeah, everyone went left him.
Yeah, I think they all know where the bird is because we saw that on the way at the end. I'll tell you about that. But we went this way, which meant it was so nice and quiet, and we would just stand and just listen to the nature. And it was so obviously cloudy because this is a cloud forest, but all the trees and the plants are covered in little dewdrops, and you'd hear birds and you just have no idea what the birds were, but it was just so peaceful, and we'd like walk through and just be like, so what I did
very,
actually...
like mysterious.
Yeah, very mysterious, like dark
witchy,
and spooky. Yeah, some of it felt like fairy tales almost as well. But I did a vlog from there, and I also did an ASMR video, and it's basically a 7-minute clip of like different sounds that I've put together for an hour. So if you want to sit and listen to nature sounds for an hour, and I was like walking through, I think it's a really nice video. But anyway, so we did that, and we were looking for this quetzal bird, which is the famous bird from this part of Costa Rica. So again, we spend the whole time like this, getting sore necks after hours and hours, not really sure what we're looking for.
Not seeing anything because it's the densest forest I've been to, I think. And also it's like rainy and cloudy and like...
Yeah, there's not much visibility distance-wise.
You can't see anything.
We went to a viewpoint and it was just white. Like it was just cloud.
We were just like literally in the clouds. I mean, it's named the Cloud Forest for a good reason. Yeah, it's quite...
I really enjoyed that hike. It wasn't too hard or anything.
Yeah, no, it was nice.
It wasn't.
It wasn't so different than any other things. Like different. So
we saw a really cool caterpillar that we photographed, and so anyway, then towards the end when we were coming around the end, we were sort of a bit like, oh shit, okay, the bus goes in 40 minutes. If we go this way, it'll take us 10 minutes to get back. If we go this way, it'll take us half an hour. So we need to do that way, but make sure we're there, like make sure we're quick so we can get back in time. So we thought, right, we'll go and do it. So as we started walking down this extra little bit that we weren't sure we were going to do, that's why there was like groups of tours with like 10 people with one guide, and they were talking about like this tree is something or other, this bird is something or other, these roots, this plant. And then I think, did I ask one of them, like, obviously the quetzal
we asked
bird?
One guy, there's a nest over there.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, you might see the bird poking around.
So he said, if you go here, turn left, and like 10 metres down, you'll see lots of people there. The tree is marked. And he said, but the problem is with the quetzal bird, it'll come out, and then it'll go back, and it won't come out for another 6 hours. So if you're lucky, you might see it. Otherwise, you'll have to wait for 6 hours, and we're like, fuck that, we're not doing that. So anyway, we thought, right, well, let's carry on. So walked around, not really expecting to see anything. And then there was a guide there with his telescope.
Well, then there was 50 people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. But there was a guide there with his telescope, monocular thing, whatever it is. And he got some videos on my phone, which I'll be able to pop on screen. But yeah, we saw the bird. So we saw
the female. We didn't see the male, which is the cool one.
He's got a different tail, hasn't he, or something?
Is the one that you see on the flyer.
Yeah.
Like the long very thing that they advertise.
Yeah.
We saw the female one, who's a bit less flamboyant looking, but still
I
cool.
would like if they weren't there, I would never have seen it.
No.
It was just like a blue-green bird in the tree.
Red and green, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very hard to spot. It was like not close also, like it was kind of in the bush. Yeah.
It was funny as well that we spent the whole day looking for a bird and then saw it and we were just like, okay, it's a bird.
Yeah,
Like-
well, I was looking for the male that has like such a crazy tail
Yeah.
that is very unique, when the female was like a colourful, normal looking bird in a way.
Yeah.
So,
Like the sloths, when we saw them, we were like, oh my god. And then like same with the toucans. And then with this, it was just like, okay, it's a cool bird, I guess.
yeah.
But I'm glad we went anyway because the hike itself was really nice. The day
Yeah, it's
trip was
very
lovely.
unique. Otherwise, the town is shit. There's absolutely nothing to do there, apart from that. So just go one night, do the thing, get over it.
Yeah.
And then we took a bus to Quepos after that.
Quepos?
Yeah, but that was a good ride also. We went down to the coast, we changed bus, and then we drove like along the coast for another 2 hours or whatever. You know, we changed in this like dodgy
random,
place in the
yeah.
middle of the street or whatever. It's like, yeah, stop here, there's people waiting, they'll take the other bus. Okay, alright.
Yeah, it's really, considering it's such a touristy place with digital nomads and things like that, it's probably one of the worst places for transport we've been.
Yeah, it's
so
just
unorganised.
yeah, like you just need your own car. You're willing to pay a lot of money to have private drivers taking you places, but like public transport is just
Terrible.
not great. But yeah, we made it. It's fine. We made it to Quepos, where there is the most popular park in Costa Rica, which is Manuel Antonio.
Yeah, so the first couple of days we arrived, we were there for rainy season, so it's like we did expect some rain, but it was shutting it down again a lot of the time we were there, which was quite nice because we'd be sat on our balcony and it'd be like thunderstorm raining around us and we'd just be able to sit and watch the birds. And actually our accommodation, again, it was pretty basic, but it was fine, it did the
That was
job.
a really nice one. I enjoyed this one.
Yeah, well, I think the accommodation itself was basic. The rooms were all orange, which was a little bit too much, but actually we had views over some trees, and pretty much on a daily basis there would either be scarlet macaws,
Yeah, the red one.
the red ones, or there'd be the green ones. Or we also saw that tiger neck heron there.
Well, we saw the red macaw 2 or 3 times, and we saw toucan as well, but the different
Oh,
toucan.
toucans, that was it, yeah.
The one with a different beak, not the rainbow one, the yellow and black stripe.
Yeah. But we also saw the heron thing, so we saw lots of different things there.
I was just on the hunt there. I was walking,
Yeah.
and every time I was like, I was like, oh, toucan,
Yeah.
or like whatever the froggy
Yeah.
sound. I was like, oh.
Yeah. So yeah, one of the days we got a bus from the town we were staying at to the town next
To
door.
Manuel Antonio town.
Yeah, because we were staying a little bit next door or something.
Well, we stayed in Quepos,
Oh, we
and
stayed
there
in
is
Quepos, that
Manuel
was it.
Antonio town and
Yeah.
Manuel Antonio Park.
So we got a bus to the town, thinking, oh, we'll explore the bigger town and see what there is, because in Quepos there wasn't a whole lot. So got a bus there, ended up walking down the main road, basically down to the beach, and we walked past a couple of restaurants that I'd seen online, I've seen people talk about. One of them is El Avion, and it's basically an aeroplane restaurant where you dine like under the wing of the plane. It has really nice views over the ocean. There was also El Wagon or something like that, where there was like a train. And I think there's a third one by that same group.
Yeah.
But it was basically just hotel, restaurant, all the way down. And we went to the beach, had a bit of a
Plenty
walk
monkey
round.
tour.
Oh, some monkeys, yeah.
Yeah,
Took
eating,
loads of pictures.
stuffing the face with mango. Was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a nice little trip, and then got a bus back. That was fine, nothing particularly extraordinary. But then we went to the Manuel Antonio Park, so we got a bus there. And I think it opened at 7 and we were there, at 5 to 7 or something.
Yeah, we were
Literally.
second people in the queue.
There were 7 people in the queue, which was so nice because it meant that when we got there, which is my advice, I think get there as early as you can so you're the first people, because it was nice and quiet. So I think it opened at 7. And we went in, and Jeremy looked online and found some route where you go and see a waterfalls. We went into that. Saw a sloth there, which was nice. Saw some monkeys. Saw a tiny little green and black frog. Saw a couple of different things. Then about 9:30, it was either 8:30 or 9:30, it started getting busy, and there was like crowds of people.
We came back on the main path, and suddenly it was a group of like 20 people, and another one, so whoa.
Yeah. And it's like the most people I've seen in any of the national parks, because usually, like I said, it's like 2 or 3 people here, or like you might cross paths with someone, but you know, you don't really talk to them. Whereas here it was like big groups of like 20, 30 people with one guide pointing at things, talking to things, kids running around, people just talking loudly, not trying to be in with the nature.
Like, it is the most popular park, and it was very obvious. And also it's probably the most accessible.
Very well maintained.
Yeah, like in terms of like, you know, physical ability, if you like the other ones, you might not always be able to do them. Tortuga is flat, but it's also training has to go. But like this one is actually like a path you can you can drive on it.
Yeah.
Like there are cars going back and forth. It's very flat, very well maintained and clean, and so it's very accessible and practical. So that's why there's more people probably.
Yeah. And it was nice, but I feel like for us it sort of took the excitement out a little bit. Like with the other places, like I said, we would walk around and literally be staring up and being like,
we
so
deserve that
quiet.
sloth.
Yeah. But we'd be like so quiet and just like, we'd just have so much time just listening to nature. We barely talk. Or we'd be like, oh, did you see that thing? Or like, oh, there's a lizard over there. So we'd like slowly get the camera out and photograph it. And it was just so nice and peaceful to be like walking through nature and just enjoy the nature. Whereas here, it felt a bit like a Disneyland nature tourist event where it was like, here you can see a sloth. This sloth is 17 years old. It's been here. It's called Rob. And like tell you information about this sloth, and like it's nice that there's the guides doing that. I'm not slating that. Rather than us trying to explore and find things and really enjoy the sounds and look for different things, it felt like, okay, well, where's the next group of people stood and what are they pointing at? Oh, they're pointing at a sloth. Okay, fine, there's a sloth. Take a picture. And then also, like, there was one section where there was a really small path where there was, like, 20 people all pointing at this sloth. So we're like, okay, there's obviously something there. And then I was like, take a photo and move on. Everybody, get moving. And it's just like, for fuck's sake, can you shut up? Like, we're trying to enjoy the sloth and take a couple of pictures. Like, in the other places, we'd set up the tripod, we'd sit down for half an hour, just sit and enjoy it. Whereas there, it was like, take a picture, move on.
It's more zoo-like.
Yeah, it was like a zoo, like a nature zoo. Which kind of annoyed us both a little bit when we were there. We were like, oh, for fuck's sake. But yeah, it was cool. We saw some sloths really close up. I'll tell you about the last one in a minute. But
we had some very nice walk where you have like, because it's on the Pacific side with like amazing view on the ocean with like some cliff and stuff like that. So we did part of the hike where you had like a nice viewpoint and you see like an amazing view of the water and stuff like that.
We went down to the beach as well.
Monkeys. On the way to the beach, we actually saw a sloth moving, which is they go down from the tree once a week to pee.
I think so.
And otherwise, just don't move. And we saw one literally like going from like one tree to another and like doing like zip lining. Really, really moving a lot. It was really cool because that's something you don't see often.
I think as well, it was amazing to see how crazy strong they are. Because as they're moving, they might just be holding on with one arm, and then while the other arm is moving, and the legs are just hanging, and then they slowly like grab the next one, and then let go. But their whole body
doesn't... real speed.
and their whole body doesn't move as they're just holding on with one limb. Whereas obviously if we're holding on, we'd like, you know, if you start up here, you'd end up doing that because you're the weight of your body. But they were so strong. Yeah,
and also this one wasn't easy to see.
Yeah.
And we found a good spot with a camera and got some good picture when everyone was like, what are you looking at? Yeah, it was quite cool, this one.
We saw monkeys, we saw that little white one as well.
Yeah.
In the palm tree.
Yeah, because most of the sloths that we saw close up are the one with like the black, like the Batman one, I call it. The one with
3 toes, right?
Yeah, 3 toes probably, and it's all like, the one with a black stripe on
they're like browny, greeny coloured.
The one that you see everywhere. But there is another one that's called the 2 toes or whatever, which is like more like white, slightly yellowish fur and like longer fur and different face as well. We eventually noticed. Yeah. We saw it once in Tortuguero, but very far away. We were literally a ball. Yeah. But this one was like loving a life in a palm tree. Yeah. This one I was really happy to see that because I wanted to see this one very close as well. So. Yeah,
it's nice. Yeah. And then, so we sort of went and did the waterfall first, went and did the, like, decking area, went up and did the hike at the top, We then came back down and went to the beaches. We then went round, and then we went to the bulbous bit at the end, where there's like a section where it kind of comes out, and you walk through this like little beach area, and then there's like a rock at the end, if that makes sense. So I walked around there as well and got some amazing panoramic views of the ocean and of the rocks and palm trees and things like this. So we just had a fantastic day. And then for the way home, well, back to the bus stop, we were like, okay, we can either go back through and back on the main road, or just go by the beach. And we were like, okay, well, the beach seems quicker, and I thought it'd be in the sun, and by this point it was like the middle of the day. We'd already been walking around since 7 a.m, so I was knackered. I was like, do you know what, we just need to go. I'm so tired, I'm so done, we need to get out of here. And then on the way back, Joan was like, do you know what, I'm just going to go and see that sloth again that we saw that was quite close, the one where it was like, get a photo and move on, that one. Joan was like, let's just go and have another look. And by this point...
You didn't want to come, but then you had FOMO, obviously.
I had FOMO. But like, at that point, the park had really quietened down, and I don't know if either the groups had left or people were just chilling on the beach at that point in the middle of the day. Yeah. Which I would recommend taking your swim stuff and probably going to the beach in the afternoon, because I think that's something we missed out on because we didn't take our stuff with us. But anyway, so Jeremy was like, I'm just going to go and see that sloth again. And I was like, oh, I'll see you at the entrance. I really can't be fucked. I'm so tired. And he was like, okay, bye. And I was like, no, I'm coming with you. Because I hate missing out on stuff. Because I thought, oh my God, if you see something amazing, I'm going to be so jealous. So I thought, right, I'll just fucking go. I'm knackered, but I'll go. Thank God. So we got there and the sloth wasn't in the place, and instead it was like behind us on the other side. So we saw it and we were like, oh my God, amazing.
It was hanging. I got some good pictures.
Good pictures and good videos. So we're like, oh my God, amazing. Let's go. Because there's like the main road and there's like a little path that like follows it. So we thought, right, we'll run round and see it from the other side because I think we'll see it closer. Which we did. So Jeremy's like running with his tripod and I'm chasing him, just be like, I can't be fucked, but this is so cool. So I got like a boost of energy again, and it was literally, you could have touched it. And then he moved
and he came towards the path. So yeah, we could have given you a snug.
Easily could have obviously didn't, but easily could have touched it.
Yeah,
it was so close, and it would move sometimes, it would scratch itself, it'd like, you got some such good pictures and videos of it like looking up or looking down, or with this,
it was
like
smiling, eyes open and closed.
Yeah,
scratching everything.
Like, it's one of those where like you go to Costa Rica thinking, oh, I really hope I see a sloth, and then if you see a sloth, it's like the best thing ever. Like, we did not expect to see one that close. No. Like the one that we saw in Tortuguero that was like far enough but still close enough, if that makes sense. But we got a good video because I've got a good lens. Whereas this one, literally I could have touched it if I wanted to. Like, it was so close and it was so nice. Yeah,
it was like 2 meters away. Like a couple of arm lengths.
And it was nice as well because this one we could, like, it was on the main path, so it was space. It wasn't like on the small path where people are trying to push through and stuff. And because it was quieter as well, which was nice. But there'd be like a group of, 5 people would come and have a look, and then they'd move on, and then other people would come and then move on. So it wasn't as annoying.
When I just filmed for like half an hour.
Yeah, we just stood watching it, so it was so nice. So that was at Quepos. We then went to Uvita, which we didn't vlog at all. We were there for a bit longer there, weren't we?
We were there for 5 nights. We had a nice house for ourselves, but internet wasn't working. It literally rained non-stop the whole time we were there.
Non-stop.
Like, it didn't stop. We had a swimming pool that we barely enjoyed because it was just like hammering down.
Yeah.
Also, like, it's not just small rain. It's like tropical rain, so you don't really do much. We also wanted to go to see, like, they have what they call like the whale tail thing. Like, it's like a beach where there's like a whale tail shape stuff. I don't know if it's a rock or sand or whatever. I think it's sand. And it's a beach town where you can't go to the beach. You have to pay for it.
Because it's a national park.
So we went to the beach town without going to the beach. I was like, fuck off, I'm fucking paying to go to the beach.
Well, it was one of those as well where it was kind of like...
Also raining. So.
Like, it was raining non-stop anyway, so we could barely go outside because we were just like the town itself, where we were staying anyway, New Vita, I don't know about the whole place, obviously we didn't explore that much, but like, where we were staying, it was just houses. There was one French cafe that we went to work once.
And got stuck with the rain.
We got stuck. It was fucking, got drenched. But there was one cafe that we went to. Otherwise, it was just small little houses, a couple of them dotted about, not busy at all, not big buildings or anything.
A few surf club things.
Well, that's the thing. So I thought, right, I'll go surfing. That'd be so nice to go surfing there. I've been wanting to go surfing for like a year now. I still haven't been. But I was like, okay, great, we'll go there. And I thought, let's go for a couple of days. It looks so nice. There's this gorgeous beach with this like whale tail shape. I'll be able to go surf and we'll get some work done. We'll chill out. We'll enjoy the pool that we had. Rained the whole time. We wanted to go to the beach. And like, it was only a $5 or something to get in each. But it was more just like the principle of it. Just like, I don't want to pay to get into a beach.
But also, like, we couldn't not even enjoy it because it was raining. So it's like, you know, in another day, like, yeah, you pay the money, you spend the day at the beach, you enjoy it when it's sunny, it's fine. Like, but like, there was no point to pay in the situation we were in
to get rained on
because
and not enjoy the beach.
We would, it would have been like, nothing to enjoy. So
I think it's one of those where if it's low tide, you can walk between it or something. I don't know, but then if it's high tide, it covers it up or something. So anyway, basically, we did nothing for about 5 days. Like, we literally worked in a cafe
because we didn't have internet in accommodation. So yeah,
and then you got a full refund.
Yeah, somehow I didn't request it.
So that was Uvita. So would not honestly recommend.
We also got locked out.
Yeah,
the day was raining.
Yeah.
So then that was the end. So we took a bus to San Jose for 2 nights. So yeah, 3 days, 2 nights. Everyone was like, when you go to Costa Rica, you land in San Jose and you leave San Jose.
Yeah, don't stay
Everyone
there.
was saying that. I was like, it wouldn't be that bad. Like, you know, like, people say that about a lot of places sometimes, but it doesn't mean it's bad. So we said, okay, let's just give it a shot at the end just to see a bit. And it wasn't great.
It was not great.
No. Yeah, you can go away.
Our accommodation was nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Very nice. Tiny little apartment, like literally bedroom, bathroom, and like a kitchenette thing with like a courtyard with flowers, and it was nice. And it was in the centre of town.
Dodgy.
Just very dodgy.
See a guy with a baseball bat at a corner of the shop, and we're like in a touristy safe area, like with like a very, like one street that was very touristy and kind of okay to walk around, like with shops and like the touristy pedestrian street.
With like a McDonald's or a Starbucks or whatever.
A lot of dodgy people around.
It's one of them where like it just felt dodge. Yeah. Like I think you can tell when I'm scared if I hold Jeremy's hand. Like I either hold his hand because I love him and it's nice. Most of the time it's because I need protection. I don't feel safe right now. I want to feel protection, so I hold his hand. And I don't think I stopped holding your hand the whole time we were there. Yeah. But like Jeremy said, there's the main road where there's like the shoe shops and the Starbucks and McDonald's and things, and even that in itself felt a bit dodgy. And we thought, right, well, let's just go to the street next door and just to see an extra road. So we've seen a little bit of San Jose. And literally Jeremy was like, there's a guy with a baseball bat, there's people that look like they're about to kick your face in. Yeah. Like, it just felt dodgy.
A lot of police everywhere.
It just... So we were like, let's just walk straight back again. I don't think we went out at night time even. I think we just, got something... Oh, we cooked, didn't we? Because we didn't even want to go out at night.
Well, I mean, we cooked the whole time in Costa Rica anyway, because
but I mean, you would think that
expensive and shit. So
in a big city, we could have gone somewhere, but no, we cooked.
No, the only thing we did there was going to a market. So Rosie was told about a market, or like on YouTube vlog or whatever, and then the first host that we had in Puerto Viejo, they worked for this market. And they were like, yeah, when you go to San Jose, go to this market. It's like a farmer market, good produce, really nice, stuff like that. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. Like, that'll be nice. Yeah. Yeah, it was a very tiny market by the river with like 20 vendors maybe, selling a bit of food. There was a bit of music or whatever, but it wasn't what I expected personally. I was expecting something much bigger with like nice produce and stuff like that when we couldn't even buy a mango.
Yeah. Couldn't we buy a mango?
Oh, because it wasn't.
Oh, right, okay. There wasn't any.
We had some food that was
overpriced.
We listened to someone singing, and that was a waste of time.
It was one of them where you go and you can buy like a crystal necklace, or you can buy some ceremonial cacao that's been blessed by somebody in the Himalayas or whatever it is. Or you could buy...
It was a Miami vibe.
Very Miami, very spiritual, very woo-woo. You could probably get a palm reading there, I wouldn't be surprised. So it was very white. It was very... whatever you want to say. It was fat, like it was cute.
It wasn't a farmer market to me, like the way my definition of a farmer market
I don't even think that's where I wanted to go.
Oh, yeah.
Because the thing that I thought it was like a huge market where like... it's an actual market where they sell everything or the local produce. That's what I was expecting. So I don't know if there's two and I just got confused.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know, but we went to that one and it was fine, but it wasn't anything to write home about.
No.
The airport was fun. There's sloths everywhere. The craziest airport I've been to, the most touristy airport. But otherwise, that was Costa Rica. So this video is way longer than I thought it would be. I'm going to have to crop it down quite a bit. But it's one of them where like I wanted to go for a while, so I'm glad we went. I enjoyed a couple of the places we went to and I really enjoyed some of the experiences, and it's one of those where like if you get a really good experience with like toucans, sloths, boat rides, beaches, that kind of thing, it was amazing, gorgeous, would recommend. I don't know if you need to go for a month I don't know if you need to go to Uvita and San Jose, and there was another one, wasn't there? I wasn't sure about. I don't know. It was just expensive,
like
overrated. Probably one of the most overrated places.
I would say overrated for sure.
Yeah.
Some of the best memories of our trip ever. I mean, I seen the toucan, seen the sloth. Like, some of the most awesome. Like, since we went to Costa Rica, our phone have Costa Rican pictures background.
Yeah.
You know, like some of the highest highlight of all our travel.
Yeah. For the nature.
Yeah, like incredible nature. But I do not understand why it's a popular digital nomad place. I cannot understand why. Amazing vacation place. Go there for 10 days probably. Because I mean, some good distance. Like go there for 10 days with a good amount of cash. It's like a good expensive vacation where you're gonna collect incredible memories.
Yeah.
Like it is awesome. You have the budget for it. You go with like 5K for 10 days. You do everything. You see everything. You'll be freaking awesome. Like some of the best time of your life.
Yeah.
But as a place to travel around slowly as a digital nomad, I do not understand really the appeal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a good country to vacation for me. That's what it is.
Like, I think at that French cafe I talked about in Uvita, I think there was one day we got a drink each, and I'm talking like an iced tea or lemonade or something, nothing extravagant.
And avocado on toast and a sandwich.
Yeah, you had a sandwich, I had avocado toast. I think it cost like €30 or €35. And it was just like, we just had 2 drinks and a little salad and a sandwich, like it's nothing. So, very overpriced, very overrated. I think, like Jeremy said, go there for a week or 2, see everything, do everything, but then get out of there.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think for digital nomads, like the internet was shite a lot of the place. There's not many cafes or that kind of digital nomad scene. It was expensive to even buy fruit and veg from shops, and you know, like our food shops were expensive, and we weren't even eating out. Eating out was even more expensive. Transport was shocking, like public transport. So you'd have to hire a car, which then also adds to the cost and makes it expensive. So it's just one of those where it's just like, I don't like, unless you know, if you're making $10,000 a month, yeah, fine, go to Costa Rica as a digital nomad. But if you're like us and you're still trying to build your business and you're not quite there yet.
No, but even in terms of like infrastructure and everything, I don't really understand why it's a popular digital nomad place, to be honest. But
I think the thing as well is like, I was expecting some of the culture and liveliness and food and atmosphere from Mexico, but then with some of the digital nomadness of Bali in terms of the co-working spaces, the cafes, the beach bar things, you know, that sort of thing. I was kind of expecting a merge of Mexico and Bali, so I thought, oh my god, I'm going to love this. There's going to be so much nature, but also so many like cool bars and restaurants and shops and
smoothie bowls.
But I was expecting that. I was kind of excited for that, but it just really wasn't what I was expecting.
And also, I mean, I'm very sorry if you're from there, you hearing me saying that, but like after Mexican, I don't think people from Costa Rica were really nice.
No.
Like, I'm sorry to say that, but I didn't feel very. I felt like a moving wallet, but I didn't feel any warmth. So I didn't. I mean, the only people that were nice were our host, and they were not from Costa Rica.
No, they're from Colombia and
Chile and Honduras. Yeah, but I didn't really met anyone that was like, oh, you're really nice. Like, yeah. So also that was
So that's Costa Rica.
Overrated. That's my.
Glad we went.
Yeah.
Made
memories of
memories.
A lifetime.
Yeah.
But overrated.
Yeah. I think would go back if I had a bigger budget and I would stay in nicer places. I would do the whole luxury thing, but I don't necessarily feel like I need to go back.
No.
So if you have any questions or comments, or you want to argue with us in the comment section, come at us. It's fine. But yeah, that's just our experience. Obviously, everyone's different and everyone has different budgets and experiences and all the rest of it. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.